Well, let's now speak with the founder of Turn Left Media, and that is Curtis Daly. Curtis, pleasure to have your company again. You are no doubt listening in there intently at what we are seeing to be a complete political revolution. Parties being split, the votes going to new parties. I wanted to ask you about this resurgent Green movement, 51 seats. This poll has them on, putting them as the official opposition. In fact, incredibly, Curtis, if you add the entirety of the Labour vote and the Conservative vote, it's still less than the Green Party. What on earth is going on?
Well, Martin, thank you so much for having me on. It's always a pleasure to speak to you. You are absolutely correct. There is a political revolution, or at least a seismic shift in politics that's happening. And the two main things I kind of want to touch upon is the first thing is massive Labour failure. It's clear for everyone to see. You know, the last, and we've spoken about this before, the last, general election, Labour got, huge majority on such a small vote share, 34%. Of course, that wasn't because people were enthused about the Labour Party, it's because the Conservatives collapsed, right? Reform took a lot of votes for the Conservatives. Everything that the Labour Party has done, I predicted. I said Labour will not change anything in office. They're not going to move to the left like they said they would. They're not going to implement the traditional Labour Party policies they've done for decades and decades, right? And then they're going to become deeply unpopular. So we're understanding why Labour is doing so terribly. It's because they're not living up to what they think their reputation is. The second thing, though, is the Green Party couldn't get to this point with just the Labour Party failure. They have to be doing something else. And Zach Polanski's leadership has proved to be quite successful. Now, the policies that underpin the Green Party is actually the same when you compare it to previous Green Party leaders, because the policies are decided by the membership. So it wasn't even about policy. But many people attacked the Green Party or were disappointed with the Greens that they weren't aggressive, they were too shy, too nice. And Zach's pitch was, let's do aggressive leadership, let's take on the fight. And that's what's happened. So we've got a combination between Labour doing terribly, cataclysmic issue with the Labour Party. I mean, Keir Starmer's political project has been an utter failure. And I'm sorry if there's any Labour supporters watching, but the Labour Party is dead. But also the Conservative Party.
All right, Curtis, I want to ask you about something which is clear from you going into this. I've spent a few hours going over this data earlier on, and you're seeing what Nigel Farage warned as a clear sectarian political movement. When you look at where the Green Party seats are and the Your Party seats, they are in some of the areas of London, of the United Kingdom, Bradford, Blackburn, Oldham, Birmingham, and all across London. Could take more seats in London than the entire Labour Party vote, by the way, the resurgent Green and Your Party. There is something going on. There is a Muslim voter bloc emerging here. Is that a good thing, or is it something we should be concerned about?
I mean, you're definitely correct in saying there is an increase in the Muslim vote. Of course, Gaza has been a huge issue. We can't ignore that. I think the last general election returned 4 independent MPs that kind of sort of stood on that ticket, right? But fundamentally, I think the biggest issue here is taxes. A lot of people are happy that the Green Party are talking about wealth tax. I mean, the majority of people in this country want to see a wealth tax. The Labour Party won't do it because they don't want to hurt their donors. They get millions and millions of pounds from their donors. They're not going to increase taxes on the rich. Of course, they're not going to do that. And the Greens are doing it. So I do agree, yes, Gaza is 100% a factor in this Green vote. But the Labour Party have been terrible in Gaza for a long time. And you've only really seen the growth in the Green Party recently. And I think it is because the Greens have been talking about domestic policies, income and wealth inequality, rents, mortgages, the really bread and butter issues that the Labour Party have ignored. And of course, wealth tax is a big part of that. So I think it's a lot of issues into one, Martin.
I think you're exactly right. And it's always a pleasure to mine your expertise. Curtis Daly, thank you very much for joining us on the show. Mind how you go. Have a great weekend. Cheers, mate. Thank you.